Thank you for being with us on the feast day of Pope St. Damascus I. Our top story tonight, the war between Israel and Hamas. Intense fighting is happening in central and northern Gaza, where an Israeli defense minister says Hamas is at a breaking point. Meanwhile, ground fighting has begun in southern Gaza, and there are new tensions on the Israel-Lebanese border. This as the humanitarian situation continues to worsen. The UN General Assembly will resume its emergency session on Tuesday after the United States vetoed a UN Security Council resolution on Friday calling for a humanitarian ceasefire. Joining us now from Jerusalem with the latest is Philip Crowther, international affiliate correspondent for the Associated Press. Philip, great to be with you. So what is the status right now of Israel's offensive up and down Gaza Strip, and are they any closer to eliminating Hamas?
Well, there are Israeli soldiers on the ground in both of Gaza's largest cities. That is, first of all, Khan Yunis in the south. That is Gaza's second largest city, and that is where the Israeli military opened its new ground offensive at the beginning of the month. But they are also still fighting to get control of Gaza City, and all around them are still civilians. Despite there having been evacuation orders from the Israeli military, there are thousands of civilians in the north as well. They are still in their homes, they are in UN shelters or in hospitals where they hope they are safer. But essentially, the civilians of the Gaza Strip are being pushed further and further south to places that were supposed to be safe for them, but the conclusion from most residents and most humanitarian aid organizations also on the ground is that nowhere is safe in the Gaza Strip right now. There is still heavy Hamas resistance in all parts of Gaza, in the north as well. That is where ground troops entered all of 6 weeks ago already.
Yeah, and there are also reports of escalated tensions on Israel's border with Lebanon. What are you learning about this?
Well, there's always been this fear that things could escalate, that another front in this war could open up. It's in fact the Biden administration that is making this clear every single day, that they really don't want this conflict to escalate into other parts of Israel or indeed other countries that border Israel. What we saw over the weekend were Israeli airstrikes against Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon. This was in response to explosive drones and missiles being used by Hezbollah on Israeli positions. There have been attacks from Hezbollah fighters every day since the start of Israel's military operation in the Gaza Strip. For now, things have not escalated too far, but there are daily confrontations.
Philip, talk to us about the humanitarian situation. I know there have been calls for more aid, but a key crossing between Gaza and Israel, it wasn't open on Monday.
Yeah, that's the Kerem Shalom crossing. It looks like it might be opening up in the next few days. There's been a lot of negotiations around this by the United States and the United Nations together with Israel. Israel so far has not agreed to any openings from Israel into the Gaza Strip. There is only one border crossing that is open, that humanitarian aid can come through. That is Rafah, that is between Egypt and the Gaza Strip, and it is very limited. Humanitarian aid is very much needed. It is a dire humanitarian situation according to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres and all humanitarian aid organizations on the ground. There is a lack of food, and any food that is available is soaring in price. There's a lack of water as well, and other basic goods, and this humanitarian situation is not going to get better anytime soon.
Philip, really quickly, 30 seconds left, but China and the U.S. have both recently been outspoken about the way Israel is handling the war. Do you think international pressure may convince Israel to change course?
Well, it's very unlikely. There has been quite a lot of pressure over the last few days and weeks, and it might be very visible when it comes to a Tuesday vote during this emergency session at the UN General Assembly. I think what you'll see is a vote for an immediate ceasefire, with the likes of Israel and the United States most likely voting against it, thereby showing again how they are pretty isolated diplomatically. So that is not a way that a ceasefire is going to be put in place.
Okay, Philip, thank you so much. We appreciate it.